I didn't
Yes.
want her to miss it. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so there's more people coming in, but I'm going to share my screen and get started. For the people who's just coming in, I was just explaining again, if you don't have access to the purple book, orange book, or the hell wig, let me know and I put my email in the chat and I'll send it to you. Okay, y'all ready? Everybody can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Can everybody see?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, perfect. Then we ready to roll. Okay, what just happened? Hold on. Let me get this back. Okay, so today we're going over theories. Okay, here's one thing I found out while studying. I think I studied for like a year, guys. Still studying. But I know at the beginning of studying, it's so much information that it's like I don't know where to begin. I don't know how to start. I don't know how to put it in layman's terms or anything like that, right? So people who have been in groups with me know, I think I see some people that did groups with me before. I like to put it in a way where you can understand it in real life, but use the vocabulary that we need to know to move forward. So what I found out is when you start a new chapter, the best way to go about it is learning the theories that's in that chapter because it's so much and everything actually links together. So I found that very helpful. I'm not sure if everybody else would, but it's some good things in it. So the first thing we looking at, and I will send this to y'all too if you want it, but I think it's a really good visual. Um, of course, we're going to talk about Crazy Freud. Now, if y'all have any questions, please let me know. If you need me to slow down or go over something, let me know then too. It's so many theories in human development. I doubt we'll reach all of them, but I promise I will do a whole nother group to finish it all. Everybody okay with that?
Yes. Hmm.
Perfect. Okay, so first let's talk about Freud. Freud and his five psychosexual stages, okay? So everybody know that he's a psychoanalytic. Here are some semantics that you can use to help you remember Freud's stages, okay? So Freud often analyzed people like ghosts. That's one that you can use. And what happens is, so in this semantic, you can see that O is for the oral stage, A is for the anal, phallic, latent, and genital, right? So on here for the oral stage, we got from 0 to 1. The children derived from pleasures and activities. Freud also used the term if anyone is fixated at a stage, he goes back to the oral, anal, phallic, and genital. This is important because when you get into the other chapters, all of it aligns back to him. So then you got the anal stage, which is from 1 or to 2 to 3. These are the children that's beginning potty training and to some demands are maintaining control of their bladder. For the fixation part, Freud believed that the mother was the problem. So if anybody was fixated, and if you ever met an anal person, according to Freud, his or her mother either took wiped them too hard or it was a brutal training stage. Okay. Then we get to the phallic stage, which is ages 3 to 7. The child becomes aware of male and female. This is where the Oedipus and the Electra complex come in. Anybody know what that is?
The Oedipus is the mother and the son, and the Electra is the father and the daughter.
Exactly. So it was Freud again. He was creepy, but he was smart. Um, he believed that in the Oedipus stage, she said it just like that, that the the child's sexual desire for the opposite parent was beginning to develop. So for the boy, he started, he had a different feeling for his mom, and he started developing these sexual feelings toward her. And at the same time would have revival with his father because the father is close up on the mom. And then on the opposite side is the Electra complex, where it's the female and then her dad, and then her mom bump heads because she have an attraction to her father, according to Freud. Okay. That stage lives in the phallic stage, and that's around 3 to 7. Watching my kid, I don't know if everybody have kids, but I don't think it was to the full extent of what Freud is saying. However, my 4-year-old, I noticed him being a little jealous when my husband will come around and, lay on me or do something. And then you'll see once my husband get up and leave, he comes and he lay on me now. So I saw little tendencies of that, but not to that extent. Okay. I don't want you to call CPS on me. Um, and then you have the latency stage, okay? This is where a child spend more time with the same sex peers. This is when they want to be part of a group, right? So this is ages 6 to 12, if you think about that. And then the genital stage, that's from ages and up, ages 12 to up, and that's the sexual impulse that appears that attract the opposite sex. So that's when they start talking about, I like this girl, or he like this, all that stuff. They start liking the opposite sex. Like I said before, Freud believed that if the mom did something wrong, for example, the oral stage, if it was force fed, like if the kid had the force fed, let's see, you're eating, but you're full, but you can't get up from the table until your plate is empty. Anybody experienced that before? I know someone who does that. It's kind of old school. Like you can't have nothing to drink until you eat everything, right? We on the same page? Freud believed that that was being fixated at the oral stage. So that's when you would see people who's smokers, they bite their nails. And this is also where the gluttony kicks in, people who overeat. Freud believed that they was fixated at the oral stage, so they have to constantly put things into their mouth. Okay. Then when you get to the anal part, just like an anal person, he said that either the potty training stage was a little bit too harsh or that it was too lax. So people who's fixated at this stage is obsessive, tidiness, they're messy, they untidy and just nasty are their anal people.
Yeah.
And then you have the phallic stage, what we just talked about. And he believed people who's fixated at this stage, they're really like into themselves, self-obsessive, and that's where your sexual people who have what's that? When they have to have sex, what's that called? They're stuck there. And then also anxiety, people who was fixed, according to Freud, fixated at this stage have bad anxiety and envy a lot of people. Okay. Then we get to his other theory where we talk about the ego, super ego, and the id. Anybody want to tell me how that works? Want to give it a shot?
So I remember it as the id is the devil, the ego is me, the reality, and then the superego is the angel.
Exactly. So according to
I
Freud,
mean,
the id,
did that suck? I'm sorry,
you're the ego.
but
You
I'm
said it right. You're
okay.
the
But
ego.
I see your picture, but that's how I'm gonna remember it. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
And because I'm visual. Sorry.
Me too. So yes, we're the ego. The id, according to Freud, was actually embedded in us at birth. Okay. Basically he's saying people are born a little evil or want to do things that's daring, right? So yes, the ego is us. The ego is either we're going to listen to the angel or we're going to listen to the devil. Okay. So the id is the one that's in your ear, like, oh, do it, try it, try it. Yeah, have another drink, you'll be fine. You've been good all day. You can have two pieces of cake, you're fine, you're fine. You did good all week. But then the angel on the other end is your morality, is morale, and it's saying, okay, you don't need it, or okay, that's enough. All right. So he believed the ego is the one that's fighting against the angel and the devil, which is like your conscience. That's how I would put it. Or if you're people of prayer, the Holy Spirit would be your angel telling you which way you should go and things like that. And then the id is your person because the desire to want everything is a human. Okay. Then we also talked about the subjective tests that Freud did. Anybody ever seen the raw shot in the ink blot test? Do y'all know what that looked like? No, yes. So those are those black and white pictures. And it's like back in the day, counseling. The black and white pictures, and they'll hold them up and ask, what did you see first? And if you've seen something like a bat first, then basically you have childhood trauma. Or if you've seen an elephant, then something's different. That's really what Freud used, and that's what was used back then. So it's a raw shot and an ink block test, which are projective. So he was projecting onto the clients.
For your birthday day off?
Hmm?
Because I already have to ask for it to meet with Sada's lawyers. Oh yeah.
Oh, I mean, okay. Now everybody have Freud, right? Now there is something else I wanted to talk about with Freud that's not in the visual, but it's about he was also known for having a conscious mind, or telling or talking about people who have the conscious mind and everything. And that's, have y'all ever seen the iceberg?
Just
It's
through
called the
topography.
the topographical, the iceberg. Let me see if I can get one up. And this will make so much sense when you start. Iceberg theory. Okay. So right here, what's the good one I want to use? Oh, goodness. So this is where he said either you conscious, that's where your conscious stage live, unconscious, and the pre-conscious. Now, one thing I learned that the term pre-conscious is what you want to use because you'll see a lot of subconscious, but pre-conscious is the language that is used often for learning this information. I just want to get a clear picture. Okay, perfect, right here. Okay, so remember we talked about the id, ego, and superego, right? So Freud believed anything that's down here is unconscious, right? Things that happen, but you kind of don't remember it happening, or things that trauma probably happened to you when you were a kid, but you kind of don't remember it. But if you do kind of remember it, he's saying that you're at the pre-conscious, which is right here, before it goes into the water. And then up here at the conscious means you are totally aware of it.
Was you sharing your screen or just telling us?
Oh, it's not sharing?
Uh-uh.
Oh, my bad. Oh, yeah, I want to share this. Let me stop sharing and then I'm gonna share. Right here. Y'all see it? Y'all see what I'm talking about now?
Yes.
Now we do.
Yes.
Okay. So see down here, this is your unconscious. This is what Freud believes. So in the unconscious, that's the trauma or something that happened to you, but you really don't remember what happened, right? So that's where the id, you see, that's where the id lies. The id is a part of the unconscious mind. It compromises two instincts, and that's where you get your eros and theranos. That's life and death. I'll explain later. Trust me, it's a lot. And then when you're at your pre-conscious, which is right here, you kind of remember, but you don't remember. But if you think really hard, you can remember it. That's, he said, you're pre-conscious. That means you kind of know, but you don't know, right? And these are things that we could be aware of if we tried really hard. And then the conscious up here, of course, is a small amount that's mental activity that we know about, okay? This is important because this is when he developed the defense mechanisms, okay? Saying either you suppress or you repress things down here, either you remember them or you really don't remember them, right? So you do certain things to either don't remember or try to cover up what you do remember. And then you're here and then you're pre-conscious, you know you a certain way, but you can cover it up and all of that stuff. And then up here, you know how you are, but to other people, you want to be perceived a different way. So all of this is the introduction to defense mechanisms, which he created as well. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to, is everybody okay? Am I moving too quick? Are we understanding? I know
You're
we
good.
probably know, but okay. Y'all ready to move on to Erickson?
Yes.
Okay. And then I can go back to the defense mechanisms because that's something totally different. And I want you to understand it. And I have it in ways where it can relate to a real situation. If y'all want to do that now while we're still on Freud, let me know, or we can move on to Erickson.
You good.
Y'all want to do the defense mechanisms, go over some of them so you can understand them?
Sure.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the defense mechanism, that's where anxiety got started, okay? This is where you protect the ego. So something is like a fight, flight, or if y'all heard about that, however it was coming towards you, it's what you're going to give off to protect your ego, okay? So anxiety is starting at the defense mechanism. Anxiety experience warnings that the individual is embedding, like something like doom is about to happen to you. So you'll have panic attacks and then you'll give off what comes. That's what Freud believed. So for compensation, you make up for things that you don't have. Okay, so here's an example. You're a woman is shopping with her friend, but she's overweight, right? She can't really keep up with them. So to overcompensate, she start buying them things. So they can forget, oh, she keeps sitting back there. She can't keep up with us. So to overcompensate from me not being able to keep up with y'all go, I'm gonna sit here, but you want me to come, but I can't. So I'm gonna overcompensate. I'm gonna buy y'all all gifts just because I can't go. That's overcompensating. Okay. Then you have denial. This is where you refuse the refusal to accept reality. Okay. For an example of that, you basically, somebody really close to you died and you refuse to accept that reality. Like, this can't be for real. I'm not believing it. Like somebody coming and you haven't cried yet, but they're like, yeah, whatever. I don't, it's not my thing. Or you're an alcoholic. You drink like 6 drinks a day and you sit here. I'm not an alcoholic. What are you talking about? Everybody drinks. Everybody have a drink from now and then, but you drink every day. You're you basically in denial, right? That's a defense mechanism. Then you have displacement. This is when a person transfers his or her emotions from a situation or object to another situation or object. Okay. So say I'm mad at the boss. I'm mad at my boss because he went off on me and he actually get on my nerves and I'm experiencing burnout at work, right? But then I come home and I'm still annoyed. So what I do, I come home and I take it out on my husband. I'm not really mad at him. I'm frustrated, but I'm gonna take it out on you. Okay, I'm gonna find something like you bring work home basically, or when you annoyed about something else, but you put it on somebody else. So anything they do, I'm gonna lash out at you. That's displacement. I'm displacing my feelings I have inside. I'm displacing it on you. That's a defense mechanism. Got it? Then you have the humor, the person that when they're nervous or they scared, they try to make a joke out of everything. So a person focuses on the funny aspect of the painful situation, right? They're protecting themselves from getting hurt. So you find out you have cancer, right? And then you joke about being bald head. Or like I have this coworker at work, right? And I noticed this is her defense mechanism because before she get hurt, she'll say it before someone say it to her. So for example, I'm a school counselor. So if she come into the office and I have a crisis going on, before she have the feeling of me putting her out the office, she'll say, I'll leave, I'll leave. I've been put out of better places. And then she leave. But I wouldn't mean it like that, but that's her defense mechanism. She'll just try to make it funny so she don't hurt. Y'all get it? I hope I'm making sense. And then you have identification. This is a person that tries to assume the qualities of someone that is admired, right? Being someone that is not you. So that's basically someone who introduces themselves by what they accomplish, right? So I'm a doctor. Instead of just introducing myself as, hi, I'm Brittany, and leave it at that, I have to say, hi, I'm Brittany, I'm a doctor, or I'm Dr. such and such, because I'm trying to have identity. So I'm going to introduce myself as my accomplishments instead of just me. That's a defense mechanism as well. I'm covering up who I am and what I don't like about me. So I'm going to pull out all the aspects that's really good and that people would admire about me. So you couldn't really see me. That's identification. Okay. Then you got projections. So a person shifts the blame, responsibilities for her actions or her thoughts to another person. Okay. So for me, if I'm a person and I miss my appointment, right? Because I'm disorganized, I got too much going on. I'm just a person who's not organized and, it's just all over the place. I miss my appointment. And then I get to work and someone forget to come to my meeting that I made an appointment with, knowing I missed my own appointment, but I'm not going to give them grace because I'm projecting what I am on you, right? So the person missed the appointment and I point out how disorganized they are. I'm really disorganized, but just because I seen one way to get into somebody else, I'm going to project what I am onto them to make it feel better. That's projection. Okay. So the person missed the meeting and now I just throw out, you so unorganized. Like how can you miss the meeting? I had this on the schedule 2 months ahead, knowing I just missed my doctor's appointment. That's projection. Okay. Then you got introjection, which take things in that are not my own. Okay. For example, someone's dumping or sad, and you're trying to help them and you're comforting them, right? And then they tell you how it is. Let me give you another one. So your boss states how we need to get our notes in order. And if we do that, then we get paid, right? I have my notes. I wrote my notes out. I'm good. Everybody else probably didn't have their notes, but I had my notes, right? But I don't say nothing. I just listen to him, and now all of us are in trouble. I'm just going to be in trouble with them, even though I done my notes. I'm letting him interject me into his defense mix. That's my defense mechanism. I'm just go with the flow, even though I did what I was supposed to do, but I'm not going to blurt it out and say, I got my notes. No, you're just going to sit there in silence. That's called interjection. The main ones, because it's a lot of them, and I can explain all of them if you want them. But the main ones is like the repression and suppression. Repression is when you blocking out thoughts about unpleasant things that you kind of experience. So at that point, you was pre-conscious, right? You kind of remember. No, repression is when I really don't remember. I repress the memory. I don't want to believe it. For an example, two sisters that was molested. Okay. The younger sister is now remembering being molested and said that wasn't me. I ain't never been touched. Like, what are you talking about? He never did that to me. That's because they repressed the memory. They really don't remember that it happened to them too. Then those two sisters, and I'm telling you, you was there with me. He molested both of us. I don't remember that. She really don't remember. She repressed it. Now, suppressing it, I remember. I don't want to remember. Okay. The younger sister, knowing it was her, if she suppressed it, she knew that it happened to her. She just don't want to remember it. Like, nah, that's all right. That's suppressing things. All of those are defense mechanisms. And it's a lot more. And I can give them to you if you want them. But for the sake of time, we'll keep moving. It's a lot. I know. It took me a while to understand the way that it's going. So now we got Erickson. Why these theories are important, because this is the section of human development. So this is the beginning. This is when they found out all the theories of helping people in counseling, helping children. So for them at the beginning, it all started from a young age. It have to start from them being birthed with this. So when the theory techniques started to come in, this is why all of this is important. So that's what I said. If you start a new section, I think it's very vital if you understand the theories. And then you'll understand the work once you get to some questions. And you'll see when I put some questions up. So Erickson, the 8 stages of psychosocial development. Okay. This is the key right here. Y'all see this? This is the only theory that was considered to cover the entire lifespan, childhood, adulthood, all of it, okay? He was the only one that started from very young all the way until you're very old, okay? So first you got trust versus mistrust. Anybody want to give it a go? Anybody?
I can.
Thank you.
Yeah, so an infant must find or form a loving or trusting relationship with a caregiver or develop a sense of mistrust.
Exactly. So this is where I know back in the day, I know when I first had my baby, and even now, they have this thing set up where it's sleep training. Y'all ever heard of that? When you train your baby to sleep? So what happens is you put your baby in the crib, and if they cry, you don't hurry up and go get them. You just let them cry it out. Y'all heard of that? Have you done that? Not a bad thing. So that's what Erickson basically said, or what he's saying, like exactly what you said, this is where the baby will learn, do I trust you or do I not trust you? Okay. Sorry, I'm going through my notes. I'm looking for something. So around this stage starts the first year. The baby needs to trust the world. So if I'm hungry, I look to my mother, she's going to feed me. I trust that she's going to do that. If I'm crying because something is happening to me and they come soothe me, I trust them. But this is also the stage where a kid can experience trauma. So if they're crying and they're
NCD,
hungry,
can't.
ma'am.
I'm sorry, I'm in the store. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, you okay? So this is where the kid would understand, okay, somebody's gonna come get me. I'm hungry, I'm sleepy or something, but someone is gonna come nurture me, right? So this right here is where they start to trust or they do not trust. So have you ever met somebody who just don't trust anything or anybody that anyone have to say? But when you actually learn that person and you actually get into that person, you realize they had a lot of trauma going on when they was growing up. This is the beginning of the stages of that. Then you have autonomy versus shame and doubt. Anybody want to give it a go for that one? Nobody? Anybody? So this is around the toilet training stage, okay? So this is 18 months to 3 years. The toilet training stage and the self-control, learning to be independent, okay? So this is autonomy is when they finally use the bathroom on the toilet or in a pot, right? And they're so excited, like I pee-peed in my pot, come see, come see. You go see and you do a little dance, yeah. And then they pee-peed, but then probably 5 hours later, they didn't make it to go do number two. And they do it on themselves, right? Then that's when shame and doubt come in. Like, oh man, I boo-booed on myself, you know? That's where he got there. So at that age, they start realizing that I can have self-control, but I don't have it yet, but I'm gonna learn to, okay? Then you got initiative versus guilt. Okay, this is between ages 3 to 6 years old, and they learn to take initiatives to task and carry out plans. May feel shame for asking questions um, or asserting independence. For example, your kid come in, and I'll say for kind of the older ages or whatever, and come in and ask a question that they shouldn't be asking, right? Or you just can't talk about it with them yet because they're still young. So maybe come in and say, and this is just an example, say your kid kind of walked in on you and your person, right? And after all of that's done and the day go by, they come and they ask you what was going on, and then you like, oh no, I can't tell you that. But then they like, oh, did I say something wrong? Like that. So that's when they take initiative of knowing it, or I know this is happening, but can you tell me what it is? And then you say, no, you're not supposed to be knowing that. And then they're like, oh no, around that age. Then you got industry versus inferiority. This is around 6 to 12 years. Competency of what I'm good at and how it can be applied. This is the age where you should start um, telling or teaching your kids, or they should understand what they're actually good at, right? So if I'm really good at reading, I should understand that I'm really good at reading. But what I'm not good at, I should understand what I'm not good at, but I would get good at it. Because what happens is, if this stage is missed, if that stage is missed, then any stage that's missed, the person actually stays at the stage. That's what Erickson theory is saying, right? So there can be some grown people who actually don't know what they're really good at. And then they just keep doing something, or they feel sorry for themselves, right? Like, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. Basically, they're stuck at this stage. Then you got 20 to 40 years, this intimacy versus isolation, mainly concerned with lovers, friends, and intimate relationships. Okay. These are people that either around that time you find the love of your life and you start doing whatever you're supposed to do, start making a family, or if they have not found that person yet, then they stay at this stage because they have not moved past this stage to get to the next one, according to Erickson. Then you got the next stage, generativity versus stagnation. This is ages 40 to 65. This is where you, all right, you found the love of your life in the first stage, right? Now you move to the next, you have kids. This is where your kids start to grow up. You start to prepare them for the next generation. You put down some roots. You got a legacy. This is what the family is about. Or you can be stagnated and have a midlife crisis. This is where midlife crisis was supposed to fit in. Or you can say, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. I should have did this and maybe I would have did that. Or you tell your kids, no, you do it and stuff like that. Are you just okay with life? You don't want to move forward. I'm good. I'll stay here. You stagnated. But then the total goal is to get to the integrity versus despair. Integrity is saying you can sit there, you had a good life, your kids went the right way, everything went according to plan. Now I can sit back, relax, and I did what I was supposed to do in life. Or you can have the despair part. You didn't have a good life. That's when you like, man, you just hate the world because it is what it is. You always negative to people. You telling people it ain't nothing good out there and stuff like that. That's where that versus thing together. Does that make sense? Are y'all okay? Because it's quiet. We good?
We're good. We're
Okay.
fine.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure.
Good job. We rolling with
Nobody talking. Okay, cool.
Right, taking notes, taking notes.
Just taking note. Okay, I got you. And I'm sending this to you, okay? Read. So then you got the Alfred Adler. Okay. Let me put in my stuff. Alfred Adler, he's a psychoanalyst. Holistic approach to development. What an individual is born with or into, he believed that that's what it is. Please ignore the kid behind me. So he's basically saying that kids are born, whatever they're like, basically they're a product of their environment. Does that make sense? They're a product of their environment, and it is not determining factor in the development. So rather it's for them to reach one goal or determine the lifestyle between the behaviors. Okay, so this is the semantic. Let me make it smaller. And I'm sending this to you, so don't worry. This is the semantic to help. Now, basically with Adler, it's going to be a lot of Adlerian techniques. So that's why knowing his words and the key terms would help you decide what technique to use, okay? So the three main goals for him was work success, intimacy, and contribute to society. So you got in between. Inferiority complex, okay? You want to feel inferior, right? Then you got the logic consequences, the birth order. That's his word. Always remember it's Adler's word, birth order. He believes sibling rivalry is the thing. The older kid, and even in the olden days in the Bible, the first son gets everything, right? Same here, birth order. Oldest kid get everything, middle kid forgotten about, baby is the parents did all that they can do with the first couple of kids, so you just go and do whatever, right? Then you got the early recollections, witness approach, quality and social interests. And now it'll make sense later, I promise. Exploring and understanding goals and non-deterministic views of people and events. This is him. Now, when we get to his theory and the things that he does and his methods, then it'll be explained better. Then you have Carl Jung. I actually really I like Freud, but I actually like Jean Piaget. So when we get there, I'll probably shine. But Carl Jung, his terms are collective unconscious, okay? Archetypes, that's Carl Jung. Work led to develop he actually was one of the people that helped created the Myers-Briggs type indicator, right? This is the results that present the combination of ESFJ. He was actually the one that started that introverted, extroverted thing. Like, are you a person who's an introvert? Do you stay inside? You don't really like to socialize with people. You gain all your energy from being by yourself. Or are you extroverted? Are you a person that like to party or be the life of the party and you get energy from other people, happiness or anything like that? How do you prefer? So here, right here, he actually was the one to start up all the questions and things to figure you out. So how do you prefer to take information? Then you have those. And how do you prefer to make choices? Are you a thinker? Are you a feeler? So he was one of the people that want to ask you the questions and then like the baseline questions and you give it to them and things like that. Okay. Then we got jigsaw therapy. This is Fritz Pearl. Always remember pearls, okay? So he formed the psychotherapy. The word jigsaw in Germany eccentrically means I can't read that. The way things are placed or put together, it is organized whole. Now, the jigsaw study group was canceled tonight, but be there for the next one so you can get deeper into this, okay? The whole of anything is greater than the part. It emphasizes on the viewing of the individual and a whole, not just a collection of individual parts. So right here, his terms are unfinished business. Remember that. You hear that, you know that's him. It is a result of unexperienced emotion. He focused on integrating the whole self. So he's looking at the whole you, not just your thoughts or anything like that, right? Looking at your environment, looking at how you grew up, how many siblings you have, what's your weight, and all of those things, the whole you, he focused on that. The client takes responsibility for their desires. So basically you are leading your therapy, he believes. Connectedness with others, improve self-awareness in the techniques, right here, keywords. He was the engineer for role playing, the empty chair method, experimenting in dream work, okay? The role playing, it works really well with kids versus adults. However, if an adult is fixated at one of these Erickson stages, then maybe you need to do something like that. Does that make sense? Like role playing, but there's a grown-up that's kind of childish and you pick up on that, then you might get more information from using this technique. Okay? It'll all start to make sense, I promise. So role playing in the empty chair method. Anybody heard of the empty chair method? Want to explain it for me? If not,
Yes.
go ahead. I thought you was gonna do it. Okay, so the empty chair method is a client being brought in for a session, right? And they really want to talk about, they really been hurt so much by a person that they love, but they don't have the guts to actually tell that person, right? But they're telling their counselor. So the counselor wants to try this method to see how it will feel and give them the courage to actually tell this person. So what happens is you pull up an empty chair, have the person say what they would say to that person, but it's actually an empty chair. That supposedly is supposed to get them to build up the courage to be able to say it to the real person. So he was the person who started all of that. And then here and now, that's his thing. He focused on the here and now as opposed to individuals' past. So when you go into the counseling session, it was more, what do you see now and what are you experiencing? Because the past out, according to this and him, he wasn't really interested in the people's past. It was more the here and now and what you're going through right now. Like, for example, I'm scared to tell my sister that she really gets on my nerves. So let's role play and do it then, like that. Then you have this existential therapy. So many people. Existential therapy is based on the physiological of the these words, existentialism, which emphasizes the individual searching for meaning and purpose. Okay, so anxiety in this kind of therapy, they welcome anxiety. They're saying that if you having that, that's a natural feeling. Let's understand why are you having this. Explore having anxiety. You know, it's fine. You got Rollo May. He's the father of this kind of therapy, okay? Repressing anxiety leads to mental illness, he believes. So that's why I say explore anxiety, because if you if you repress it, which means a defense mechanism, then it'll lead you to more mental illness. So our choice determine the kind of person that we will become, okay? Then you got Viktor Frankl. He survived the Holocaust. Key term. He's one of the theorists that survived the Holocaust. And when he did that, his sole purpose was to help the others find meaning of life. So basically, he survived a death experience and did what he had to do in life and was okay. So he wanted to reach back out and help people, you can get through it too, basically. He developed the logo therapy, and that's therapy through meaning. He wrote the book, Man's Search for Meaning. So he's one of the ones that wrote the book, and you'll see why when we get to questions. Authenticity is also part of existential therapy. It's you being true to your values and to yourself. Irvin Yalom, he'll come back up in, is it careers or groups? Might be groups.
That's correct.
Is groups. Yeah, the four given. He started the four givens of human conditions. So 1, death, morality, freedom, isolation, and meaning and meaninglessness. Relationships, connect others in the meaningful way. Freedom and responsibility, responsibility for your actions and whatever. So in this kind of therapy, it's kind of like you doing your work. Okay, anybody watch Ayanla? I'm saying it wrong. When she you got to do your work. Anybody watch that? Yeah, there you go.
My life.
Yes, Fix My Life. And she'll tell you got to do your work. You got to face reality, and how it was very hard for some people to do that, but existential therapy is one of those things. So if you don't want to be told about yourself, then you wouldn't do good in this kind of therapeutic session. Self-awareness, explore the innermost thoughts and feelings. Okay. Next, we're getting into some key concepts of the unconscious and conscious. This is also words from Freud. These are his key terms too. Free association, which means the client says whatever comes to their mind. They lay on a sofa and he say just go at it. Okay, whatever comes to mind. This is a way to gain into the unconscious. That's what he believed. The dream analysis and the manifestation of dreams. These are all his terms. Transference. This is when a client unknowingly transfers feelings towards someone in their past into the therapist. So that's when the client is saying all of their hurt and whatever, and then I'm starting to feel it. That's transference. I'm taking on whatever you going through, I'm starting to take it on. And then you got counter transference. This is when a client's trigger similar emotions, reactions in well, whatever I said backwards, okay? In the therapist. Behavior therapy. Who are the main engineers in behavior therapy? Anybody want to explain? I like behavior therapy because I used to be a special ed teacher.
I think,
Anybody on here teachers?
no, I'm not a teacher. I think a group I was in of yours before, you called them SWP.
SWP, yes.
Hmm.
If you SWP, it'll be Skinner, and that's how you can remember all the behavior people. SWP, that's Skinner. What's that W? And then you have
Watson, John
there
B.
you
Watson.
go. Thank you. And then you go ahead and you have Pablo right here. So behavior therapy, this is where your CBTs and all of that come in, can be tested. This is something that can be measured, and it can be practically applied and ignores genetic processing and changes. So this have nothing to do with how your life went, all of those other theories. They were coming up with all kind of theories to see what worked. Most people psychoanalytic. Then they have people that believe that people are who they are by their behaviors. Okay. This is Pavlov and this is Skinner. The way for them to believe that they did some kind of training, okay? Behaviors that are learned can be changed. They believe, like, for example, I put my kids to bed at 8 o'clock, and it's always been that way. They do it, they do it, they do it. If they go to my sister's house, they're not in bed at 8. So over there, they hanging out. Here, we don't do that. So learned over there, they come back home and they trying to stay up past 8. And I'm like, no, no, sir. You go back to bed. It's learned behavior by being over there and then coming over here. So basically, that's what they believe. So Pavlov is the one that did classical conditioning with the dogs. Y'all heard of that story? Anybody heard of the story?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. And then you understand how the classical conditioning work. Everybody know? Or you want me to go over it? Classic conditioning. This is where the stimulus in the environment has produced the behavior response, which is unlearned. It will be produced later, therefore, a natural response which has not been taught. In this respect, no new behavior has been learned yet. So for an example, taking this test, right? We never have taken the test before. So when we go into the testing building, we're fine, right? That right there is the natural stimulant. That's the NS, okay? It's not on here. I have some other stuff that will be. And then you have conditioned stimuli. You have unconditioned stimuli and unconditioned responses, right? So the unconditioned stimuli will be your environment, all right? Say you have an experience with hospitals, okay? Unconditioned stimuli. You used to go to the hospital, it don't bother you, whatever. We go in there, it's a hospital, it's, whatever. Then your unconditional response is you're okay. That means the is no pair together. You're fine, nothing happened. Someone you love died in the hospital now, okay? Now you hate hospitals. You don't want to walk in one, you don't want to smell one. That's classic condition stimuli. You're conditioned now to hate hospitals, okay? Because someone you died, you hate it here. Before it was unconditioned because you were fine. Now you hate them, right? So now that you hate hospitals, you're gonna have a conditioned response to it. That means I don't want to go anywhere near a hospital. I get mad, I start crying, I have anxiety, right? You just now paired something together and now it's conditioned. You're conditioned to not like hospitals because of a response to a stimuli. Okay, that's what he believed. So he did that with a dog. Okay. He conditioned the dog to eat the food when he rung the bell. Everybody know the story, right? I don't have to go through it.
Correct.
Perfect. And then you got B.F. Skinner. This is how, okay, I'm gonna speak from a special ed teacher. This is how we, I don't want to say train because they're people, but this is how we got the kids to do what they needed to do. We basically used all the methods that came from B.F. Skinner without even knowing. So this is operant conditioning. So everybody know the story about him and the rat, right? The rat box and all of that. The rat did something, he got a reward, the rat didn't do this, and things like that. I'll explain later. So it's 3 types of responses operant that can follow the behavior. Neutral operants, which is the response from the environment that neither increase nor decrease the probability of the behavior being repeated. You have reinforcers, okay? Negative reinforce, positive reinforce, it's not negative, okay? I know it sounds counterproductive, but a negative reinforcement is not negative, okay? What is negative would be punishment. Any reinforcers is trying to get the behavior that you like to continue. If you don't want the behavior to continue, then that's when punishment come in, okay? You got that? For an example, I have some examples. If we want to stop the behavior, it's punishment. If you want the behavior to continue, you use a positive or a negative reinforcement. So for an example, my son, I'm just throwing out there for a negative reinforcer, okay? Negative reinforcer means we're taking something away, right? So he did everything he was supposed to do. He made all A's, and that's what I was looking for him to do. Because he's been studying and he made all of the A's, and I want him to keep making A's, I'm going to take away him taking out the trash. He didn't want to take the trash out anyway. So because I got good grades, I don't have to touch the trash and take it to the street. That's a negative reinforcer. Okay? Now, positive reinforcement means I'm adding something to it, right? So he got all A's and he did what he was supposed to do. Now it's time for him to get an allowance. I'm going to add $5 to it. That's a positive reinforcement because I added it to it. Does that make sense? Yay, nay?
Yay.
Yes.
Yay. Perfect. Now, punishment, I do not want the behavior to continue. So now I have to find something to stop the behavior. A behavior started, I don't like it, you're on punishment. I took away what you love, hoping this teaches you not to do it again. That's a punishment, okay? Negative, positive reinforcers are all positive. It's either you're taking away something that they don't want to do anyway, or you giving them something that's going to keep them going. For an example, in the classroom, the kid get an answer right, I give them a Skittle. Kid get the answer right again, I give him 2 Skittles. Kid did not get the answer right. Let's try it again. You don't get the Skittle. That's how it works. And that's how it worked in school. That's all I'm saying. Then you got Albert Bandura. Anybody want to tell me about Albert? Y'all want to talk it out? Can somebody? No, nobody?
He's the guy with the Bobo dolls, right?
Yes. Can you say, do you know how they did the experiment?
Wasn't it like they witnessed some type of like aggressive behaviors
Mm-hmm.
and which in turn caused the ones who witnessed the behavior to be aggressive as well?
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. So basically, they're saying the behavior is learned. If a kid learned the behavior, that's how they're going to be. If they didn't learn it, then that's not what they would be. So what happened was the experiment was with the Bobo dolls. They had 2 different groups. One group in one room experienced the people coming in and talking real bad to the doll, punching the doll, hitting the doll, and everything, right? And then in the other group, they were ignoring the doll, really not doing anything with the doll. When they walked out of the room, the kids got up and started beating that doll up and was very aggressive. And in the other room, they didn't pay any attention to this doll. So Albert Bandura was responsible for doing that study, and he emphasizes that roles of observational learning, reinforcement, and modeling. Okay, so if a kid is in a household where his mom get beat all the time, he's going to be a man that beats women too, basically, is what he's saying. Okay. Children learn social behaviors such as aggression by observing adult behavior. So this is what Bandura is saying, self-actuality. Lazarus. Anybody want to tell me about him? You better remember what he did, the multimodal therapy. He's known for contributions to the behavior therapy. So right here is when you go into counseling, right? And they ask all of these basic ID questions to figure out everything that you have been through, right? He marks down the behavior, the response, sensory, what causes you to do this, and things like that. Drugs and everything is implemented into this. Joseph Whoopi, I guess that's what you're saying. Known for thought stopping and systematic desensitizing. Okay. Have anybody heard of is it EDMR? Y'all heard of that?
Yes,
I've
for
heard of it.
PTSD.
Yes. Now, do you know
Desensitization or something like that?
Yes. This is his story is he got attacked by wolves or something like that. So that's why he came up with this. I gotta find the story. I think he got attacked by wolves and then also started to have PTSD. So he created something to desensitize the fear stimuli, if that makes sense. So he's kind of responsible for, I know they have it with the lights if you've never seen it, and the person sit there and it's kind of like old time hypnosis, but they actually have it now with music. And I'll send it to y'all. It's creepy, but it kind of do something with your brain waves or something. It's really cool. And then you got Conrad. He was the imprinting person. He did the experience with the ducks. Anybody know about it and want to talk about it? Yes, no, maybe. He did the experiment with the ducks, basically saying that it doesn't have to be the same type of like it didn't have to be the mother duck that the ducks were actually following him too. So this all started the attachment theory, okay? Along with the attachment theory is a lot of other people that's not on here, but we can talk about it. What about Harry? Who know about Harry?
Monkeys.
Harlow.
Monkeys.
With the
Monkeys.
monkeys and
Harry,
attachment.
Harlow, monkey. Always Harry, monkeys. Okay. What happened with the monkey?
The monkey preferred the cloth mother instead of the wire mother.
Yes. Basically saying, with the help of his hold on. The attachment theory. Yes, he wanted the one with the sensor thing, or something to feel warm or whatever. And they put the other mother in there, the fake mother, like the box. And I'll send a video if anybody want to see it. And had the monkey choose which mom. So what happened? They brought in this scary thing that came in, and when the monkey was scared, it ran to the mother cloth and not the other cloth, even though the other mother was feeding them, but he went to the other one. So he was responsible for that. So you hear anything about monkeys, Harry, Harlow, Harry, monkeys. That's how I remember it. Along with him, you got John Bowlby, and then you have, because that's all attachment theory. Connected with them would be Margaret Mailer. Okay, they were all the ones that created separation anxiety, saying that the attachment is positive, then the person themselves would be a total okay person versus different attachments. Secured attachment, basically saying you're doing a really good job if you dropped your baby off at daycare and they cried for you. That means it's a secure attachment. If they cried when you picked them up, then it's a problem. Piaget, another early human development person. Piaget had 4 stages of development. Okay. Test hint, order the stages can be this how it can be remembered. Okay. Please send pizza, cheese, and fries. It's cheesy, whatever. Piaget sensor motor stage. Somebody explain it to me, please. The sensory motor stage. Anybody want to try?
Babies connecting with their senses.
Babies connecting with their senses. When you see a baby always putting something in their mouth, they're learning. They're not going to die. It's not dirt and whatever, but they learn from their mouth. So you see, they pick up candy as sugar. Ooh, I like this. Pick up dirt and eat it. They know I don't need to be eating dirt because it's nasty, right? These stages are between birth and 2 years, okay? Also in sensory motor is that big word, object permanence. Anybody remember what that is?
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. Perfect. Peekaboo. That's basically, they are still conditioned to, if I say peekaboo, peekaboo, or I show them a ball and then I put it behind my back, they really think the ball is gone. I bring it back up and then I put it behind my back, they really think the ball is gone. Or if I'm playing peekaboo, they really think I left. Okay? Object permanent. Next stage, pre-operational. Somebody give it a go.
That's like the egocentric stage, where they're
Know
having
everything. They know everything. You don't know what you're talking about. I know this.
they got difficulty taking like another person's point of view.
Yep. And this is ages 2 to 7. Can you relate? Centration lives here. This where they start putting words to the pictures. So when they see those golden arches of McDonald's, they know it's McDonald's. They know I can get fries and I can get burgers, right? Um, this is also the terrible two stage, okay? Animalistic, symbolic. Anything that's animalistic is here. So Johnny is 3 and Greg is 10. And mom told Johnny to be quiet. His brother is studying. Johnny says, it's all about me. I don't care he's studying. Look at me. Look, I'm jumping. I'm jumping. Look, I can do this. That's where that stage is, pre-operational stage. And then you got the concrete operational stage, and that's ages 7 to 11. What happens there? Concrete
More
operation.
logical thinking.
Yes. That's when they understand if I have a short glass and a tall glass, it's the same thing, like the same size or whatever, but this glass is short and this glass is tall. The kid that has reached this understands that I don't have to pick between any one of them because it's the same thing. Or if I give them a slice of pizza, but then I cut up another slice of pizza where it looked like it's more, the kid that reached this stage know for a fact, even though it's more on that side, it's still bigger on this side, even though it's one. Or if I have a $5 bill and I got $3, a kid that have not reached this stage would think $3 is way more than a $5 bill. A kid that reached this stage understands $5 is way more than $3. Okay? That's the concrete stage. And then formal operational is 12 years and up, and that's where they understand abstract thinking and logical reasoning. Okay? That's when they understand that saying, if you lay down with, what is it? Understand if you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. You know what I'm talking about? They understand I'm not really going to get fleas, but they understand if I lay down with a nasty person, I'm going to have whatever they have, basically. Okay. And then he talked about schema. When I think of schema, I think of my forehead, right? Because this is the action and this is where everything happens. So when you say schema, he's talking about your mind and talking about what's going on here. So what happens in this situation, he was the person that they don't come up with these things, but they put their name on it. So assimilation. The words that would come with them is assimilation, equilibration, new situation, accommodation. Okay. Assimilation is when new information is coming back from familiar things, right? So there's a kid and they see a dog and they love the dog and the dog is furry and cute, right? And then a cat walks in and the kids say dog. That's assimilation, right? The cat came in and they said dog, but the parent corrected the kid and said, that's not a dog, that's a cat. Now they're thinking, and that's equilibration right there, right? The new situation happened that they understand that this is not a dog, this is a cat. So now they accommodate it and say, okay, that's a dog, that's a cat. And that's all he's saying, basically. Y'all get it?
Got it.
Okay. Cobarts. Coberts. Somebody tell me the story of how this all got started.
Is
Y'all
it
remember?
the Heinz dilemma?
Do you mind
Where
telling the story?
I may have it wrong, so please
That's
feel
okay.
free to button. Isn't it where there's a lady and her husband, and the lady's really sick, and the pharmacist has the medicine that could potentially like save her, but he's selling it for $2,000 when the husband only has 200. So later that night, he breaks into the pharmacy and he steals the medicine to basically save his wife's life.
Perfect. And after that story, he took it and he applied it to boys. Okay. I said boys and I highlighted boys because some other theorists that were female said that it was very biased because it was just what a boy would think, that females would have more compassion, right? So he does this study with all the boys and get their opinion. Then he forms the moral development. How many steps is in this? Somebody tell me, please.
6.
Six. 3 levels, 6 steps. Remember that. 3 levels, 6 steps. The 3 levels are post-conventional, conventional, pre-conventional. Okay? 3 levels, 6 steps. So first level, pre-conventional, that happens between ages 3 and 7. Okay? Step 1, avoiding punishment. Okay? They'll do anything to avoid. Such and such we're in the classroom and he's making all the noise. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. He did it. I'm avoiding punishment at all costs. Self-interest is also known as the naive hedonism. This is where I stay on the green star all day because I want to be rewarded, right? Good for me. I don't care what y'all got going on. I'm looking out for myself. Okay? He was talking. I'm not getting in trouble. I want my golden star, so it's all about me. That's step 2. That's all pre-conventional. Okay? Then you get to someone who's hitting 7 to 11 years old. This is level 2, step 3. It's the good boy, good girl attitude. Okay. I want to look good in front of them, so I'm not even gonna be perceived as anything. So say a fight going on and it's a group of people and they all going off on somebody. I'm not gonna do it because I'm a good girl. Okay. I don't want y'all to think that I'm ignorant. So that's the step 3 stage, and that's in the conventional. So law and order. Okay. And I'm sorry, the good girl, good boy morality. That part. I want to be like everybody else. I'm good. And then you got step 4 when it is law and order, and that's when they get to a point where they confirms the avoid censor of the author. So stop. If there's a stop sign, I have to stop because that's the law. Okay, I cannot break the law. Or they follow the rules of things. Okay, so at that stage, like 7, 8, well, I think it starts to get to like 9 and 10 where they start following the rules if they're good people. He's saying if they have moral sense, then this is what they would do. Okay. Then you get to the post-conventional stage with 11 and up. Now, this is ideal. This is how a person should be if they're ever going to reach the top. Okay, that's what he's saying. So level 3 is post-conventional, 11 and up. This is the social contract. Okay, this is where they confirms and maintain communities. This is when they start having their own voice and probably lead protests and stuff. Like, this is my right. I'm going to do this. They stand up for themselves. They take nothing. This is where the stage where they get. The next stage, he believes that no one really reaches that stage because that's the stage where you got your Martin Luther Kings, your Rosa Parks, like they're actually changing the world. Okay. According to him, this is the moral development, and this is how it happened. Now, the female that I said went against it is Carol Gilligan. She was a follower of him, but noted women kept following his morality test. They kept failing it because it was biased. He did it on boys, not on women, because women developed totally different. So she created her own, so it won't be so biased. That'll just come up. This is the story. Another behavior person. This is Aaron Beck. He started the ABC model for CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy. He explored testing and replacing maladaptive behaviors, unhelping beliefs, such as all or nothing, aka thinking over generalizing, nothing's ever good is going to happen, all of those things. So he worked on the mind of doing that. Albert Ellis, REBT, which is now known as RET. Rational emotional behavior therapy. A test hand is right here. You can remember he's known for this by rearranging the letters REBT to spell Albert. I don't know. REBT. Teach people new or more productive ways of thinking by directly challenging their irrational beliefs. Okay? Irrational thoughts. They're saying, I'm never going to be good enough. And then he goes in and said, well, why? And then you have to explain why. And it's like, that's irrational. You can't believe that. So he worked on changing the rational thoughts of a person. So ABC is his method for REBT. Eric Berne, this is where it's the transaction between communication. So he was big on communicating. Anybody want to explain that? Just for test purposes? Give it a shot.
I know for like the goals for that therapy is like I'm okay slash you're okay.
Yes, it's basically what other people are perceiving when they like the communication thing. Anybody played that it's an old game, the telephone game, and someone would start, it's like in a circle and they'll tell the color is green, right? But by the time it get all the way back to you, it's something totally different. And it's like, that is not what I said. Basically, that's what this is. So it's basically how people are taking in the conversation, and whatever response they're giving off would explain if they're giving off, which is CP, that's a controlling parent. So when you think about controlling parents, what is it? Like motivated to provide safe boundaries and limits with the intentions to protect. So they're like, no, you can't do that. That's just not gonna happen. You get what I'm saying? And then you got the nurturing parent who cares and supports. Okay. This is the diaphragm I'm talking about. So parent is the taught concept. So right here, and this all have to do with the communication that you're giving off. Either I'm gonna, like they say, the older daughter is the manager of the family. Basically, she's giving off parent. Okay. Then you have the adult. The negative part of it is you have the adult that responds to here and now, rationality and reasons, and mediates between the parent and the child ego. Okay. Then you get down to the child. This is someone who's going to react to you through feelings. Okay. So if someone tells, and this can be all grown people. It doesn't have to be a parent, adult, or child. Basically, what he's saying is the three ego stages. It's depending on how you take the information. Either you're going to give off childish, or you're going to be controlling, or you're going to be adult about it. Okay. So that's what you said. People are okay. I'm okay. You're okay. We're okay. Okay. Speaking to someone, transaction, stimulus. The person speaking is the agent stimuli. So they say something and it goes to someone, right? And then depending on how they took that in, either they're going to be defensive or they're going to be adult about it. I say defensive as a child because I'm going to defend what you're saying. And that's basically what he was talking about. So it's transference in the stimuli, the stimulus, and then the response. I have a video I can send on that. Reality therapy, choice therapy. William Glasser. Client-centered form of CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. When we make the choice to wear the glasses, we can see reality more clear. So reality therapy is seeing what's really in you. And many people that use reality therapy would be like teenagers. That'll be good for them. So the theory is personal responsibility, responsibility for your own actions and to have power of change, present focus actions and basic needs. When you think of Carl Rogers, his words are always unconditional positive regard, congruence, and self-actualization. That's all his words. Then all of these are the family theories, and they come in a little bit later. Now I'm gonna pull up some practice questions, and then we can try to do them. I said earlier before everybody hop on, I put my email address into the chat box. If you need access to the orange book, purple book, or the Hellwig book, please email me and I will send them to you through email because I don't know if they're gonna get me for sending it through chat.
Hey, Brittany, I thought you had wanted me to place I had
You
everyone
had
place
it?
it.
You did
No,
it?
no. I had them place it in the email, but I can't do it, you know. Remember earlier you were saying drop your email addresses? And so while you were speaking, I just reminded everyone to put their email.
Oh, if y'all can please do me a favor and send me an email and I can just send them off to you if that
Okay.
works.
I don't see your email.
It's all the way at the top, and if you don't see it, I can pull it right back up.
You grinding, doing a great job. No,
All
no,
right,
no.
okay. Now let me pull up, I'm about to pull up the purple book. Can y'all see? Am I sharing? Y'all ready?
Yeah, not yet. Okay, now it's coming.
I'm there. Perfect. Y'all see it? It's free for you. I promise. All right. If you have not already, the purple book is amazing, mixed with Dr. Pam videos, mixed with the orange book, the audio. If you have that, anything to make this work. I have seen everybody who does this study group and has facilitated with me, they all passed. And we all did everything from this. Okay. So I will send it to you because this is everything you're gonna need to study. Hard. I'm trying to get to the questions. This is amazing. He like breaks it down, explains it, and it's good. It's thick. That's what I'm gonna say. It's thick. Okay, I'm getting there. There we go. Y'all already saw it. Okay, I need participation on this though, okay? I can't be the one. Y'all with me? Yes.
Yes.
All right. Freud's stages are psychosexual, while Erickson's stages are, it's already highlighted on this one, but he's psychosocial. Okay? Them two, they have the first three just alike. That's psychosexual. Okay? Remember, Erickson and Freud, first three are the same. It's psychosexual, but the stages of all is psychosocial, okay? Erickson 8 stages, trust versus mistrust, or integrity versus despair, focus on the social relationship. The last few, that's what they're saying. So in Freud, I want you to answer. In Freud's psychodynamic theory, instincts are implied. Erickson is an ego cyclist. Psychodynamic theories focus on the unconscious process rather than the cognitive factor. When counseling clients, I got y'all. So who know the answer to number 2?
Is it?
He believes in manpower of reasoning of the control behavior. C. The only psychoanalyst who created a developmental theory which encompasses the entire lifespan is who?
Erickson.
Erickson.
Erickson. The statement the ego is dependent on the id would most likely reflect the work of who?
Freud.
Freud. Jean Piaget, ideographic approach, created his theory with 4 stages. The correct order from stage 1 to 4, how do we remember?
Some people can fly, so it's C.
Some people could fly like that. Sensory motor, remember everything in their mouth, pre-operational, concrete, and formal. Some people could fly. Some behavior scientists have been critical of Swiss psychologist Jean Piaget development research. Okay, somebody answer it and then I'll tell why.
The answer is D.
Yes. They really don't believe in his theory because he did all of his work and experimented on his kids. So yes, his own kids. A tall, skinny pitcher of glass is emptied into a small, squatty pitcher. A child indicates that she feels the smaller pitcher has less water. The child has not yet mastered what stage?
Conservation.
Conservation, concrete.
Conservation.
Conservation.
Yeah,
Yes.
conservation.
Count, conservation, centration. Always remember the C's. They all together. Math, like the picture and all of that. Count, conservation. Always. CCC. In the Piagetian, whatever, literary, conservation would most likely refer to what?
Volume and mass.
Math. All count, volume, math. CCC.
Yeah.
Centration, concrete, conservation. Remember.
Right.
The child masters conservation in the Piaget, whatever, stage known as
Concrete.
CCC. CCC. Blank explained on Piaget, expanded on Piaget's conceptualization of moral development. Who was that? The moral.
C. Colbert.
Colbert. Yes. See how it all line up? I'm so
Yeah.
used to y'all. According to Jean Piaget, a kid masters the concept of reversibility in the third stage known as concrete operation or concrete operational thought. This notion suggests what?
C? No.
No, it's D.
I'm sorry. Yeah, D.
One can undo an action, hence the object, say the glass of water, will return to its initial shape. So they understand, even though I pour it in the short one, it's the same amount when I pull it in the tall one.
Right.
Let me open up my screen so I can see. Small.
You want me to make it bigger?
I did on my side.
Okay.
I was able to pinch it out.
Yeah.
Y'all ready? During the thunderstorm, a 6-year-old child in Piaget's stage of pre-operational thought says the rain is following me. This is an example of
egocentrism.
Yes, because we know
egocentrism.
this process of elimination that has gotten me very far. We know this belonged to a whole different stage, right?
Right.
This go with it. C and C.
Yeah.
Abstract thinking doesn't
That's
start until
the formal
the
stage. That's
formal
the fourth.
stage.
Yeah.
So it's all about me. It's
Yeah.
following me. Ecocentric.
The
All right. Lawrence Colbert suggested how many?
levels, 3 levels and 6 stages. But also we got to remember that there is a seventh stage that can be mentioned.
Talk to me.
Well, okay, so we was talking about this because it was on one of my tests that in that seventh stage it was talked about the religion. So his morality was the spiritual side that didn't really make it, but they still bring it up. So that can be a possible of that seventh level. And they talk
Yes.
about it sometime, and they're also talking about it in the transcending state.
You are absolutely right, because in this book, he brings up the new thing in counseling is
And it's that
spiritual.
spiritual side. Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
absolutely. So I wanted, and I did see that on December the 2nd.
You did.
And half of the group, this is Penny. I made a 75, excuse me. So I done taken this test 3 times and failed it 75 all 3 times, except the first one, it was a 70. But I had a lot of complications and things going on because I was a cancer patient, but I'm not stopping. I'm still pressing
No,
on.
you're not, because you're going to pass. Let me tell
In the
you.
name of Jesus, I'm trying.
We said a prayer yesterday, and when I tell you God was on everybody's side, everybody who took a test today passed.
I know. I was in the group and I heard your beautiful prayer for every one
And
of
I'm
those
praying for
ladies.
everybody. When it's your test time, I promise I will labor in the spirit. I promise you. I promise. For real. So the
I
Heinz
just wanted,
dilemma. Oh, go
I
ahead.
just want everybody to know about that
It's
seventh
that
stage,
seventh
because
stage.
if it's
Yeah.
mentioned, don't be afraid to, if it's talking about the religion side of it, the morality, don't be afraid to say 7 stages. If they talking about the religion, and I did see that on my test question. So I don't know if they just now trying to surface that in or what.
Yeah. He said in here. He says it. I'm sending it to everybody. Everybody getting it.
Great. Thank you.
Of course. Ooh, y'all remember the identity crisis one? The term identity crisis come from the work of?
That's Erickson's stage, and that's number 5.
That's Erickson. Yes, ma'am. Hobart's 3 levels of morality.
It's the pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional
And
age.
what happens in the post-conventional?
The post-conventional is the 6th and 7th stage. That is our social morality and the universal.
And he said most people don't what?
What did he say?
Most people don't make it there.
Yeah, we can miss that stage also. A lot of them we can miss over.
Yeah. Trust versus mistrust belongs to who?
Erickson first.
A person who has successfully mastered Erickson's first 7 stages could be ready to enter Erickson's final and 8th stage, and that is
integrity versus despair. 65 and older.
65 and up. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. This is something that wasn't in there, but the statement males are better than females when performing mathematical calculations is?
It is, they always say it's a true statement. But we're learning too that these males think they're better than us anyways. Yeah.
So who's the empire on saying something totally different? Women.
That's Karen. Is it Karen? No.
Eleanor.
Eleanor, yeah.
And Carol Jacqueline.
Yeah,
definitely. I'm gonna pass up some. Here's another one. When comparing girls to boys, it could be noted that in general,
girls grow up smiling more. Girls are usually more feeling words by age 2. Girls are better able to read people without verbal clues of any age. So would we say all of them?
What we say?
All of them. All
Yeah.
of them. Yes. The Freudian's development stage, which least emphasizes sexual, is
The Lathan. That's the only one that don't
the
talk about
late
any
stage.
sex. Yeah.
Yes. Phallic was all sexual, okay?
Right.
Oral
And
was
the
sucking your
reflux.
mom's milk.
Yeah.
And then the
The
anal.
anal, that retention, that, yeah.
hmm This right here, this word literally means foot to head.
Right.
Head to
Cephalic
foot.
to
So,
caudal.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Piaget's final stage is known as the formal operational stage. In this stage, what happens?
That's the abstract thinking
Abstract thinking.
emerges.
You see how it all
Yeah.
rolls through? It's
Yeah.
all rolling. And this is human development. This is the only group that'll do it. When
Yeah.
we get to another one, let's go over the theories, and then you go into the information, and then just read and you can answer the question. Theorists who believe that the development merely consists of quantitative changes are referred to as, it's in here, but I didn't go over it.
The
Imperialism.
imperialism.
Yep.
Imperialism.
They believe in all the data. If you cannot track it, it ain't real. Okay? These are imperialist people. Okay? That's your John Locke. And then there's some more people in here that you'll see. It's all behavior. B.F. Skinner, all of them, they're all part of it. If it's not docked or have data, it never happened.
Okay.
Piaget's development theory reflexes play the greatest role in
And the it's in the not the
pickable.
sensor
Where was
motor.
pickable?
Yeah, the
Sensor
sensor
motor.
motor. Yeah.
Sensor motor thing. All play.
Yeah.
See? Right here. Child has not where? A mother hides a toy behind her back, and a young child does not believe the toy exists anymore. The child has not mastered what?
Object permanence.
Object permanence. The Harlow. What Harlow? Hairy monkeys.
Yeah.
The Harlow experiment utilizes monkeys, demonstrated that animals placed in isolation during the first few months of life. What happened?
Yeah. They clinch to the surrogate mother more
They
than the
did.
carrier. Yeah.
He believed that autism word, it didn't mean it back then because the first person that brought it up was Margaret Mailer. And I'll explain more when I do the second one because it's so much in this that I can't break it all down in one setting. We'll be here for 4 hours, y'all. It's so much information, but I can break one down in an hour. That's how much information. However, that's just knowing the content. So when you get to the other ones, you know where it came from. It's not putting too much time on one theorist because it's so much more information, but it all correlates into the different topics.
Okay.
Last one, and then I'm gonna send this off. Ooh. Sigmund Freud and Erickson agreed that, what did they agree? Remember, the first three.
Each stage need to be resolved before they moving on to the stages. Was that
Because if not, they're gonna be what?
They're gonna be behind, and you gotta master that stage. You gotta master that stage to progress to the next level.
Because they're gonna be fixated at that stage if they
Right.
don't. Yes. Now, can everybody send me an email? And I promise I'm sending it all. Do everyone need all of them? I can just send them all. You can have doubles just to make sure you have it all, and I can send this visual. Does that work for everybody?
Yes. Do we send it? Do we put it
Send
in
it to
the
my
group?
email. Do y'all see my email in there?
I don't. In chat right now.
Let me see.
Is it Brittany?
I'll put it up again. Here.
Yeah,
Is it
hey
Brittany?
Brittany. Yeah, it never showed. I'm sorry.
That's
You're-
okay.
So
Here,
that's why
look.
when you were speaking, I had everyone added to the
My girl. Thank you.
I had
Always
them
got
added.
it.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I had them add that. I was like, well, because I remember you mentioned this. So I was like, everyone just drop your email. She'll get it with us. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
So
yeah.
Brittany, this is yours. This Brittany Wood.
Brittany
Brittany
Haywood,
Haywood.
yep, that's it
Yeah.
right there. I just put it in and I'll send y'all all of it. Everything I get, I'll send it, I promise, because it all helps, even if I pay for it.
You did a great job. Are you coming to Danielle's in a little bit? Well, it starts
Yes,
now.
yes, I
Okay,
am.
let's go. Let's
Also, I'm not gonna promote on here because I don't want to do that, but I made study guides with real life and real ways of explaining it. I'll give everybody in this group half off. It's just $10 for each thing. But if you want it, it helps. It's on Etsy.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Brittany.
Of course,
Uh,
of course.
thank you,
And
thank you.
I'll make a code just for the group. It's gonna say group. And then
okay.
you'll get percents off. I'm gonna give 15% off on it. And when I tell you it took me a while, but I broke it down to where you can understand it fully. Oh, thank you, Melanie. She brought one. Okay, so I'm about to send it and let's hop on to the other one. If y'all, I encourage if y'all can hop into Danielle's.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brittany.
I'll do another one, I promise. Do you know when? Yeah, real soon. Probably real soon. Trust me. I'm in it. It's grinding. I already paid for everything. It's time for all of this to work. Okay? Okay. Yes, Melanie, you sure can. All right, I'm sending it, okay,
Hey,
guys?
hey, Brittany, when you say you want us to send you an email at the one you just, it's your email address?
Yes. Send me an
Okay.
email so I can see, and then I can just keep sending everything.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. See y'all later. If y'all need anything else, let me know.
Thank you, Brittany.
You're welcome, Penny.
Answering.
Thank you.